I mean, imagine trying to dance around that. That's going to be really tough. I mean, this isn't, in my mind, this is not going to be if this is how it works, this isn't going to be the first time or the last time it happens.
Well, I think it was very, very nice of Carl to give her a heads up that she's in danger of being in, like he could have said nothing.
But isn't it crazy that right now, the way paddles are manufactured, that this, I mean, we've talked about it before, but this is such a crazy incident in my mind, that we have such an issue with the paddle technology right now that you can literally, the day of, have a legal paddle, and then as the tournament goes on, then be in violation. I mean, so do you have to, like, for every match, do you have to switch to a new paddle? I mean,
if you want to push the limit to the very edge, yeah. And so here's the thing, like, I'm not going to say this about Sarah's paddle, but the way that you, or let's say me, if I have a paddle that I know is possibly like able to be delaminated, what I can do is I can go get it tested by Carl and say, okay, it's fine. And then I go back to my car and I beat it with a hammer. Or no, I'm not kidding. This is what you can do.
Right.
You can actually do this. So that's why the timing is important. And the heads up from Carl, I think I think eliminates any doubt in my mind that there was BS going on. Right. So like, there was a fair warning. We all understand how delamination works among the pros at this point.
Yeah.
So it sucks, right? It sucks for her that it was fine before and it was illegal afterwards. But let's say let's take me as an example. I do this. I give a paddle to Carl and it's fine. It's not even close. Carl's like, you're fine. And then I go to my car and beat the hell out of it for half an hour or whatever it takes. And then I come back and I play my match and everybody in Newport Beach can hear that my paddle is delaminated. And then my opponents challenge it and it's found to be illegal. I'm sure Sarah didn't actually go and beat her paddle with a thing, but it's something that could happen.
Yeah.
And so I think testing before and after is essential.
It's pretty interesting because from an outsider's perspective, my mind goes to, I would be like, man, this sucks. Like, this sucks. This is like impossible to navigate. But you as a player, you're saying, actually, this is pretty fair. And that was generally the sentiment I heard reflected amongst most players, including Ansboury and Braverman. They were both like, this is fair. This is what needs to happen. So we're bummed that we're getting DQ'd. We forfeit the points, the prize money, and a shot at, potentially going on and winning gold. But this is what needs to happen if we're going to improve this process. I mean, Lucy Kovalova in her post-match interview was like, yeah, this is deserved. This is a deserved, like, and this is how it should be. And I thought that was an interesting statement. And then like Elise Jones was tweeting like, we're so thankful for her. It was almost like a bunch of the pros were tweeting in favor of this. It almost looked like it was like propaganda, right? But like all these players seem to be pretty aligned that like this is how it needs to happen. So I just think it's interesting because if I'm a player and I'm always in jeopardy of my paddle delaminating in the middle of a match and me forfeiting everything, I would be like, well, this sucks.
Agreed, but it doesn't just delaminate over the course of a match. It doesn't go from, unless you've pushed it right to the edge prior to a match, that's not how it normally happens.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like...
But even you saying it's not how it normally happens.
Well, let's say, okay.
That means there is always this risk.
I suppose so. Yeah. But again, it's not a risk that is, if your paddle is I don't know the exact units. I don't know exactly how it's measured. I don't know what unit it's measured in, but let's say whatever threshold is 50. At the beginning of the match, you're 30. Your paddle isn't going to delaminate like a tremendous amount just by playing pickleball for an hour. It might, so it's not going to go from 30 to 51. It might go from 49.5 to 50.5 over the course of a match.
Yeah.
So like it's like that one guy on the whiteboard. The more you F around, the more you find out. Yeah. So if you've F'd around a lot beforehand, you're going to find out.
Great opportunity to donate to charity there. Got to figure this out.
True. Sorry, charity is not today. Oh, brutal. But like, so you're not going to go from a completely legal, nowhere close to being delaminated paddle to an illegal delaminated paddle over the course of playing one match. You play, you F around, you're going to find out. So that's my take on it. And yeah, I did see, I didn't make a tweet about it, but I'm pretty high on how the PPA has like handled this between now and Red Rock, right? Or from Red Rock to now. Red Rock was a disaster in terms of paddle stuff. There's no testing whatsoever until afterwards. Mm-hmm. And now to have Carl on site being able to do all of this in real time is huge. I would not have thought that would be a possibility just over the 2-week period of time.
Right.
So like props to them. Really, really good way to implement and police over the course of just 2 weeks. I think at least for now, have a system that works, or at least works well enough. Maybe it's not a complete 100% perfect, but like
it's better than nothing.
Yeah, a lot better than nothing, and addressing that delamination problem.
Yeah. Okay. And it seems the players are happy with it.
Yeah, I am. So. We did not get to what statement that she made. So more or less, she wanted to thank everybody that was involved and apologized for her behavior during the course of that match against Salome. So she questioned the paddle's validity, and I think that, some of the statements that she made, and obviously her coming on here and, saying her side of the story was, I think, probably part of the reason why this happened so quickly, mm-hmm. right? Why there is such a decent amount of testing at this past week's tournament. Did she behave properly during that match? Probably not, but I don't think you can blame her for testing, and still, I think I would like to see the PPA say something about what happened that weekend, because right now we have accounts from Salome, we have accounts from Leia. I'd like to hear a third party side of that, because both of those guys are going to tell their own story, right? So, just for viewers' knowledge, we did reach out to Salome after we filmed our message or our video with Leia. She responded around the same time she made her public statement. We read her public statement here, and I personally asked her if she wanted to add anything else or a video segment to include here, and I have not heard back. So that's still an open invite there. Journalism.
I think she indicated that she was thinking about potentially coming on, but we wanted to make sure it was like in studio. But we thought if she recorded something, we could then sort of like put it into the podcast. But I think generally, like, we want to give her a platform and allow her to say whatever she wants to say. It sounds like she just wants to kind of, I guess you could call it taking the high road here and just not get into all of it, which I totally respect. Yeah. And she made her statement. That's probably, she's not a very vocal person, right? She's not big on social media. So I think she's handling it professionally, mm-hmm. with class, and she just wants to go out there and play. But, we've reached out multiple times to try and just, because we don't want it to be just this one-sided thing.
Correct.
Right? So we just want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to say what they want to say. So hopefully we'll get her on. I would love to get her on. I think people just want to know more about her, mm-hmm. right? Because she's so behind the scenes, there's a little bit of mystery around her.
Definitely.
And the only times I ever hear from her is, one, in that statement, and then two, she likes to jump on